People are gonna die. I'm gonna end it.
What if Billy kills you?
I'm not the one who dies, kid. I'm the one who does the killing.
And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode Your Reality. Today we're doing one on Marvel's The Punisher. This is The Punisher Decoded, and I gotta tell you, Hollywood, they speak to us, they give us these secrets in and through the Hollywood movies. I firmly believe that. Marvel is notorious for expressing all the occult aspects. Symbology-wise, I believe they release their karma, or they think they release their karma through these movies, telling us really what the truth is. And, you have to really decode this stuff. It's just not going to be hand-delivered to you. You got to use decoding methods, and several of those, and that's, primarily what I use. These are my methods for decoding. I use numerology. No, I'm not using gematria. It's not the same thing. You must have a firm grasp on numerology, which is the science of numbers. And I'm primarily using Chaldean numerology. I believe this is what Hollywood uses to code their movies in. I'm also using science. I'm one of the few decoders out there that brings science into the mix, using the atomic weights and how many protons these elements have. And of course, you can break even the names down of these elements. I'm also using the Tarot system, the ancient Tarot system. And of course, as I always say, logic and common sense. Again, these are just my opinions and expressions. I'm not saying any of this is true. This is my truth. You may not agree with me, and that's okay. I'm here to expand and go further, and we're going to be decoding The Punisher. So here we go. Now, Marvel, interestingly enough, equals the number 21, just like the word Saturn. And you got to kind of think, perhaps, maybe, is Marvel drawing its power from the planet Saturn? This guy's an energy booster right here. And what kind of energy is it giving off? Marvel is a 21, Saturn's a 21. I mean, you use your common sense and logic. Obviously Jack Parsons, his real name was Marvel, his birth name. But again, it equals 21. What do you see? Now, the Punisher, it's really interesting when you break this down through the atomic weights, and you have to break these words up into syllables. You'll notice Punisher is a 3-syllable word. And that's where we get more of the narrative behind these words, bringing us to numerology, So the Punisher, it's a 4-syllable word, including the, and it's silicon, potassium, fluorine, nitrogen. When we add up these atomic weights right here, we get the number 100. Very rare that we get these even numbers like this when you break these down from all the decoding that I've done. And if you know anything about numerology, you know how powerful as 0 is behind any number. I mean, that's the God force to everything that comes from. That would be chaos, likely, or the pi, 3.14, the perfect circle. And we not just get 1, we get 2. And of course, the number 1 is the number of electricity. It's the fire, the beginning, the lightning rod. It's really interesting, this number 100. So the Punisher equals the 100. Kind of some small things. Has 11 letters in there. We can break down this 49 if we wanted to. I'll let you do that if you want to, but I thought this was really interesting. 100, the Punisher. Now, Frank Castle was his name in the comics. And this kind of blew me away. Frank Castle, his whole character, he's kind of the good guy, but yet he's the bad guy. And, if you go and study him really in depth, he wears a lot of black. Jesus is the black energy, the feminine energy. But he carries the white as well. The yin and the yang go hand in hand with this. And you'll notice, Frank is an 18 and Castle's a 19. The word Jesus equals 18. It's really interesting. So he goes out and, you know the story. If you've seen it, he's the vigilante, but he goes out and he does justice to those that harm the world. He doesn't harm those that don't harm the world. Kind of that dualistic figure in here, the yin and the yang. That's what he is. I could break this down further, but I thought this did justice here. The moon card is the 18th card. Jesus equals 18. The moon runs our emotions. And there's a lot of symbology aspects in here. And then the 19th card is the sun. So Frank Castle is the sun and the moon. the black and the light. Really interesting, isn't it? And then, of course, the atomic elements, argon and potassium, moon and sun. And I thought this was interesting. Ar is argon, K is potassium, equals ark, as in Ark of the Covenant, perhaps. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But look at what the atomic weight additions are. It brings us to 79 if you add all these two up here. And the element gold is the 79th element. And that's what we're after, gold. Thought this was really, really, really interesting there, that this adds up to 79 gold. And Frank Castle is the yin and the yang, the black and the white, the moon and the sun. Doesn't get any more easier than that when you break this down. Now, I've broken this down before in a different video on Jesus and Lucifer, Jesus and Satan. Jesus is the black, Lucifer, Satan is the white. It's the yin and the yang. You know, Jesus is 18, Lucifer's 28, the element nickel's 28. The reason why I put that in there is because Lucifer's 28. You know, and 19 is related to the word nickel. So you see how all these are related. It's not just going to be hand delivered to you. You got to go deeper with these things. People think they're just going to be hand delivered this stuff. Oh, I found it by decoding a word. No, you need to use multiple modalities. Argon's 18, nickel's 19. Just like Frank Castle, 18 and 19. I mean, you wonder, did they choose this word on purpose? Did they choose this name on purpose? I mean, I have a feeling that Hollywood, yes, they do choose these names, but I believe there has to be some kind of predestination, some kind of divine aspects, because there is no way they can go this deep. I don't even think they even know that these things are tied like this together. You know, when they draft up all these characters and narrations and storylines. But you'll notice, Frank Castle, 1819, Argon, Nickel, 1819, 1819, the sun and the moon. I broke this down before, and, Jesus is the woman. Now, even though he's a male, well, he's got the woman characteristics. It's the feminine energy versus the masculine. Everything comes from chaos, the black. And then God said, let there be light. And there was, the light bringer. That's just what I see. What do you see? So I thought that was interesting. So Frank Castle's a blend of both, the yin and the yang. Now it's interesting because Frank was a Marine. And Marine, when you break it down, 2-syllable word, it's 5 and 13. Boron, aluminum, when you add it up, you get the number 37. Now why am I showing this 37 in Marine? Because Frank Castle equals 37, although it's the 1819, he equals the number 37. Now I have Alice in Chains in here because the song playing in the background is the song The Rooster. And, again, how do these things tie in? I mean, in the preview of The Punisher that Netflix used, which I'm going to show you, they use the song The Rooster. And there's a very specific reason why they're using that song, The Rooster. I don't know if they realized it or not when they chose it, but look at the tie-ins of this. It's unbelievable. Alice in Chains equals 37. Jerry Cantrell, the guy that writes most of the lyrics, equals 37. And then their first multi-platinum album, Facelift, just threw this in there for good measure, equals the number 33. And you all know what the number 33 is. I don't need to go deep into that, but I thought that was really interesting. But look at the 37s. What are the odds of these things linking up to the rooster? And the rooster equals 44, massive number 44, which is tied to Saturn because the 21st element is scandium, which is Saturn's element, and that equals the number 44. Really, really interesting. Now I'm going to play this clip. This is the ending of season 2 of The Punisher. And here you have Billy Russo, or Jigsaw, who becomes Frank's enemy, and they're both trying to kill each other, and he's about ready to die. He got shot a couple times, and he, let me play this clip and you can see what I'm talking about.
Kurt is here. I knew you'd come. Frankie. You don't look so good. Of course it's you. Should have known. if I'm gonna be with somebody, maybe it is you. Frank. What a world then knows.
There you have it. There's Jigsaw, Billy Russo, the character's name in the movie, finally gets killed by his archenemy, the Punisher. And you notice the song in the background, The Rooster. That's the song they chose to play. And again, Alice in Chains, man. I mean, 37. You know, look at these links. It blew me away. And I'm going to show you even more that's going to really pop some navels. Because The Rooster is the name of the song. And I was talking about the 69, the yin and the yang, you know, and Frank Castle being that yin and yang, the 1819. And, you know, the element gallium is the 31st element, and look at the atomic weight it has, 69. So you got to ask yourself again, what are the odds of these things linking up like that? This is really important. That's the atomic weight of this element. And, you know, the Royal Society of Chemistry, you think they have any kind of know-how about the occult? You bet your ass they do. And when you go to these elements, and, you know, all these elements, when you click on the visual elements, each one of these has a picture that they specifically chose. And they chose a rooster for the element gallium, the 31st element, which has an atomic weight of 69. 69. It's unbelievable how these things link up. Now this song, I thought this was really interesting as well. This is the entire lyrics of The Rooster. And you'll notice it ends up being 2696. Again, we were just talking about the 69, were we not? 2690. Look at the 69 or the 96 in there. And another standout is this had a total number of 666 letters. That's unbelievable, unprecedented. I mean, how is that even possible? Was Jerry Cantrell writing this? You think he was adding up all these letters? That's why I'm saying there has to be some kind of divine intervention with all this music and movies. And I'm thinking predestination. It's kind of like someone writing the story and then the story gets played out. It doesn't make any other logical sense for that not to be the truth. 666 letters in this song, The Rooster. And we're talking about the rooster right here, which has an atomic weight of 6. There's your yin and yang right there. 69. Unbelievable in my opinion. Now, we were just talking about Billy Russo. This is the guy that got shot. His name in the movie was called Jigsaw. And did they choose this name based upon what tarot card it ends up being? Because the 15th card is the devil card. How much more fitting is this 15 related to this card and Jigsaw? I mean, come on, look at this here. I mean, you be the judge, but I mean, look at 15 Jigsaw, 15th card is the devil. You couldn't have picked a better card to really represent this guy. He goes off the deep end, he goes crazy. He was a highly recognized Marine. He goes off the deep end, and you know, his name in the show was Billy Russo, and it equals the number 31. Again, it's the element gallium. We're talking about the rooster. That's the song that was playing during that clip I just showed you. Again, you gotta ask yourself, I keep saying, what are the odds? I mean, give me a break. You know, what are the odds? What do you see? Logic and common sense. These are direct connections. They may not be direct hits. Some of you say that's not a direct hit. These are direct connections using these modalities, the tarot, science, numerology. Unbelievable in my eyes. Now I wanted to show you this as well. This is part one. This is from a scene in the one of the few last episodes of The Punisher, season number 2. You'll notice over here to the right, you know, he's hooked up to the EKG. Look at the numbers that they're showing us. This was 82, by the way, which is lead, and of course Saturn's tied to lead. It ends up changing to 83 during this scene, but the number 96 stands out right there, which is the mirror of the 69. Again, gallium 69. And then, of course, you see the 21 there. 21 is Saturn. Another, his resting heart rate, I think, is 74. There's an 11 right there. Really interesting. That's the numbers they chose. Why? Why did they choose those numbers? 96 is the number of the Tetragrammaton. And I've broken this down before. Tetragrammaton, it's a 5-syllable word. When you break it down in atomic weights, fluorine, nitrogen, carbon, fluorine, sulfur, it adds up to the number 96. I even asked this artificial intelligence, which is numerology, how do you spell your name? And it gives us the number 96. Again, you got to ask yourself, what are the connections? What do you see? Is this all fluff to you? I can't look at it any other way when you look at these direct connections. Unbelievable. They chose these numbers on purpose. Could have picked any other numbers. I can promise you they chose the number 96 because it's the Tetragrammaton. That's what they're drawing power off of. It's the yin and the yang that holds all the power. The 96/69 doesn't get any easier to see than this. Some other standouts: Washington, D.C., White House, Georgetown, all in Washington equal the number 47. Tetragrammaton as a whole equals the number 47. But, broken down in atomic weights, the 96. Are you kidding me? They're doing this on purpose. They're drawing power off of this. They're worshiping, giving energy to the 96. Now, last but not least, Jon Bernthal, the actor that plays the Punisher. Again, we have to be talking predestination or chosen or somehow, some way. Look at the guy's name, John, equals the number 13. 13 is the element aluminum, and of course, the 13th card is the death card. Come on, he's the Punisher, death. I just threw that in there for good measure, but I thought that was really interesting. But, overall, Jon Bernthal, this is the professional name he goes by. Not his birth name, but the professional name he goes by. It breaks down to a 13, 14, 13. That gives us the number 82. And the number 82 is lead. And, of course, we all know, if you know the occult, lead is Saturn. That's Saturn's element, or one of Saturn's elements, I should say. He has several, but Saturn and lead go hand in hand. Some of the primary alchemical elements, and lead is one of them, and that's Saturn's element. And I thought that just blew me away. Come on, what are the odds? This has to be predestination. I can't see it any other way. When you look at this stuff over and over, Saturn is lead. Lead is the number 82. There's the 82 right there. It just embedded into his name. We could even break down the number 40. It's really interesting as well. But I just thought that kind of was the icing on the cake for me. I could go deeper and deeper. Look at the hat he's wearing, GGG. He's wearing all black. There's some symbology to this right here. But come on. Again, you got to look at this stuff and you got to ask yourself why. How come Hollywood talks to us through movies? But I'm telling you, this 9669, it's embedded all over this show. I have so much more I could do on this and some of the other scenes. But I wanted to kind of throw this out there and show you, again, they pick the names, they correlate with all these things, and of course, The Rooster by Alice in Chains was the song they used at the very end of this scene. Again, what are the odds? What do you see? But I see plenty here. Frank Castle, the Punisher, is the moon and the sun, the yin and the yang. He's both. And that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.